Welcome everyone to our session, Maximising the Impact of Modern Finance Transformation, with the incredible journey that Aggreko have been on. My name is Martin Watson. I'm the director at CCH Tagetik, and I am delighted to say I'm joined by Joanna Czekowska and Donald McClymont, who have led and orchestrated the transformation program at Aggreko with us. So the purpose of our session is then to bring that title to life. I hope and believe it will speak to every finance team in the country. So how have they maximized the impact of that modern finance transformation? So to begin, I thought I would lend a little more context and also draw some parallels from Agreko's journey and the case study with others that we've seen globally and a lot of the work that we've done in recent times. So I think the first place to begin is with Agreko's vision. And for this, I have borrowed a quote from later on in the session, because I think this quote better describes the heart of transformation than any webinars or white papers that I reviewed on the same subject. So our finance function will have to become more responsive and agile to reflect the global finance landscape, as well as meet our ever-changing operational requirements. So to me, this speaks really of the demand for agility, but also the demand for new and more data. All of us have seen in the last 18 months at least the pressure and demands that finance teams have been under as they've been asked for more scenarios or more analysis and probably more Teams meetings back to back. So I think that data and that need for a much closer connection between the finance team and the operational challenges that the business face, and of course the organizational changes that brings. To go with that, I think there are two other forces at work. Most finance organizations have a plethora of systems or point solutions or data repositories, whether they have one ERP or many. That drive for more data means that they are trying to join up everybody from their end users right through to their CFO, from their consolidation through to their weekly or monthly reforecast, from their IFRS 16 to just deeper analytics of the business. And at the same time, there's a sort of a sandwich in that need for change is both an operational one to remain competitive, but also one where the finance team are looking for insights that can help drive that change. So we have both of those things happening. I think the other point, my fourth of the 5 themes that I see here, is around one version of the truth. It's an old request from finance and from the business at large, but it has a new twist on it, in that now we're talking about new data, a new detail and level of data that wasn't previously available or wasn't expected of the finance team to have a handle on. And so the one version of the truth now is about providing insight and the confidence in the data, but it's also about speed and access to more data, that operational combination along with the finance traditional view. So a summary P&L is no longer enough. So the final piece in the puzzle, and an element that I think Joanna and Donald personally kind of demonstrate, is really about confronting the challenges. And here, I think I mean not just embracing change, I also mean understanding the nuts and the bolts of what's required. So both from the vision end right through to the individual stakeholders, to the technology and what that's capable of, and then the processes that surround that change program. So with that, and with the promise of that quote, I am delighted to hand over to Donald and Joanna so they can walk you through an incredible journey from Aggreko. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to our presentation on maximizing the impact of modern finance transformation. My name is Joanna Czechowska and I'm joined by my co-presenter Donald McClymont. We both work for Aggreko Technology Services, who provide the group with IT services predominantly from Glasgow, but also from our smaller sites in Melbourne, Dubai, Sao Paulo and Louisiana. We will start our case study with a short introduction of Aggreko and our finance function to provide a bit of a background for our transformation journey. We will review the key challenges we faced as an organization, the priorities driving our transformation business case, and the achievements and benefits that we have been able to realize to date.
Aggreko has grown from a small local business to a global company providing emergency power, emergency heating, cooling, event services, contingency planning, fuel management, and many others. The core business is renting generators on a short to medium basis, and these can be either small standalone units for building sites or major temporary power plants based on shipping container-sized units, which contain an engine, alternator, and a control unit. We're also adding solar and energy storage capabilities to our product lineup as part of our plans to reduce carbon emissions. Probably the easiest way to illustrate the truly global nature and variety of our services is to focus on the Aggreko event services sector, providing power, heating and cooling for sports events, notably the upcoming 2021 Olympics and Paralympic Games in Japan, fashion industry, music festivals, film productions, and other events. This sector was severely impacted by COVID, and this had major impact on our financial plans and performance during the last year.
In order to give you an idea about the size and complexity of the business and to set some context for the story of our transformation, it is probably worth mentioning a few key facts about Aggreko.
There are many multinational businesses these days, but even so, I think Aggreko is more global than most, with equipment operating in around 80 countries and challenges from getting millions of dollars worth of fuel shipped into remote areas of the Amazon rainforest to resupplying oil and gas-related sites in northern Siberia before the brief summer when the ice roads melt. The business has two main operating units. Our rental solutions business covers the orange areas on the map, which is basically the mature economies of Europe, North America and Australia, while our power solutions business covers everywhere else and was focused on medium to long-term power projects rather than short-term rentals. In addition, we have a global solutions business covering our equipment manufacturing, new technologies, and global events. From a financial reporting viewpoint, this has resulted in around 100 companies that need to be reported, and we have approximately 2,000 active entities on Tagetik. Our challenge is to consolidate all the financial data from a wide variety of locations to the same standard at the same time and publish our reports based on that. The operating model has also posed considerable challenges during lockdown, with international travel limited or banned, yet Aggreko managed to do pretty well, capitalising on the platform and even introducing new technology to keep us all better connected and clearer as we went forward. Moving on to our finance structure, we have a fairly small group finance function based in Glasgow, along with treasury, tax, and head office accounting. The three business units also have a core team to manage their overall numbers and local finance teams in all continents that we operate in. There is a degree of shared service centres and centralisation. For example, the US, UK, and Australia cover about 12 of our operating divisions, but we do have finance users in around 25 countries, with the typical challenges of network connectivity, time zones, languages, and culture all needing to be managed.
Prior to starting our transformation journey with CCH Tagetik, we were a rapidly growing, complex organization with an outdated financial reporting and consolidation system, facing a number of reporting challenges, owing both to the internal growth and expansion, but also external reporting requirements. We were looking for a solution that would enable us to produce both management and statutory reporting quickly and efficiently. We realized that we will have to invest in modern, future-proof software in order to meet the ever-changing requirements of the business. We saw CCH Tagetik as a key enabler of this transformation and have made the software part of our strategic roadmap. With the recent challenges posed by the global pandemic and remote working becoming effectively the default function for our finance community worldwide, it has become even more important to utilize reliable finance software to enhance collaboration and ensure visibility of key results as well as key risk areas across the business. We will now have a quick look at the challenges, the priorities, and achievements and benefits of our transformation journey. Let's start with the challenges, and the main one being the time-consuming and manual close processes that we faced prior to our financial transformation. Users had very limited trust in data. They were busy checking the accuracy of their submissions rather than engaging in value-add analysis activity. Due to technical issues with data loads, we had problems with data corruption or loss, and a great deal of technical support was required to get the users through month-end. With the inflexible software that we used, we had limited ability to reconfigure it, preventing agile response to changing requirements. As a result, finance processes and analysis was very heavily Excel-based. We also had no ability to run parallel data loads into our consolidation system. We were limited to a single submission at a time, with technical support acting like air traffic control, managing various loads from the regions. There was no on-the-fly FX conversion, which means that a major calculation had to be triggered every time we wanted to report in a different currency. For a multinational and multi-currency organization like Aggreko, this process was very inefficient. With these limitations and complexities, the finance functions were heavily dependent on technical support to get them through month-end, with high volumes of tickets and incidents raised on a monthly basis. From compliance perspective, we had no visibility of the completion and sign-off status of our balance sheet reconciliations, no way to track progress or review the quality of the work across the regions, with backup stored locally and very often in hard copy. Therefore, we had no central visibility of reconciling balances at risk. With the IFRS 16 standard coming into effect in January 2019, we also needed a reliable solution to store and manage our lease data, as well as produce accounting entries in line with the IFRS 16 standard. With a decentralized model and some complex scenarios we required a user-friendly solution that could be implemented fast, as Excel-based manual approach was not an option for us.
We needed a fast and reliable reporting solution to reduce waiting times during month-end close, and the instant currency conversion and high concurrency of the Tagetik solution allowed for faster and more insightful reporting across all areas of our business. This reduced the risk of errors and freed up time to actually analyse the performance during month-end. For the initial implementation, Aggreko were looking for a tactical product able to satisfy the needs of our large, complex organisation, alongside a strategic system we could own, reconfigure, and innovate with in future. This approach has been fulfilled by further projects post-initial implementation to cover IFRS 16, balance sheet recs, and now we're progressing to migrate the solution to the cloud. Tagetik is a fully integrated product covering month-end close, planning, forecasting, and consolidation. In terms of the Aggreko consolidation setup, it is not overly complicated, as everything is wholly owned without joint ventures, and so it's relatively straightforward from that point of view. However, we needed the integration to work with all our teams across the globe working on the same solution at the same time to get to the group view for management reporting, and to have a single set of numbers fully aligned at the group level. We get this with automated loads between our ERP system and Tagetik, and between the Tagetik modules, capitalizing on shared data model across the solution to minimize the admin activity and the overheads for users in getting the accurate and up-to-date results. User empowerment was also a key drive of the solution. We wanted our end users to be able to design and maintain their own reports and analysis in line with changing operational requirements. And this also means that the system has less administration and technical support required to keep it running. And that allows our technical resources to work on the future improvements and the new projects that the business needs. Compliance was a main driver behind both IFRS 16 and the balance sheet REX implementation. The requirement to have central visibility of our contracts, reconciliations visible from anywhere, and clear views of the status of balances at risk and how well they've been reconciled is a key win for us. The solution also enables remote working, with people able to access this information from anywhere in the world, and it's allowed us to work well and manage the business despite the travel bans that COVID has introduced.
And finally, a few words on the achievements and benefits that we have been able to realize to date, with the efficiency savings and enhanced control probably being the top one, particularly the efficiency savings in the month-end process, as well as the improved accuracy of reporting. We are now able to work in parallel, loading data through various regions with no data loss or corruption during month-end, resulting in a reduced number of support tickets raised. With the on-the-fly FX conversion, there's also been time savings and enhanced flexibility in terms of producing reports in non-functional currency. The next point on our list is the single version of the truth, which has been a really important priority for us. So the ability to produce both statutory and management reports from a single system, which also serves as a repository for operational data, ratio calculations, etc. So we're moving away from using CCH Tagetik purely for financial reporting. We also benefit from automated data loads from our consolidation reporting system into account reconciliations, where they can be fully explained and justified by the users. One of the key ambitions that we are still working towards and to fully realize it is user empowerment. Our end users are able to design and maintain. They're all fairly complex reports. The reporting module does have a learning curve, but it allows end users to produce powerful reports that can be parameterized and require no maintenance due to dynamicity, which in turn takes pressure away from the group finance and tech support functions. The system is also able to handle major reorganizations in terms of frequent hierarchy changes, and produces powerful Excel reporting, allowing us to effectively produce any type of analysis we want. We have also been able to reconfigure the solution and leverage standard functionality to introduce innovative solutions. In terms of integration with other systems, that would primarily be our ERP system and the flexibility of data loading from our ERP into CCH Tagetik, with over 1,000 ETL jobs executed per month, and the ability to integrate other Tagetik modules, such as IFRS 16 or account reconciliations in our case. This model is very flexible compared to a standard approach to consolidation systems with a daily load. Our users are able to execute as many data loads into the consolidation and reporting system during month ends as they wish. And last but not least, we also feel that our finance software has been successfully stress tested by the pandemic. We had no delays in terms of delivering month end or supporting our users despite the challenges of remote working. On top of that, we have been able to successfully deliver an end-to-end implementation of the account reconciliation module on time and on budget whilst working fully remotely. We are now going to have a closer look at how Tagetik is being utilized at Aggreko.
Since the initial implementation, we've been striving to maximise the value of the software investment, and we've been partnering with CCH Tagetik to take full advantage of the automation opportunities available. For reporting, Tagetik is used for all financial reporting across the group, with our ERP and business intelligence systems providing some detailed backup, but they don't contain any of our forecasts or budgets, so are very much just for additional analysis. All finance users globally use Tagetik for all their management reporting. Account reconciliation provides us with a global standardized process with people following templates and automated submission and full audit trail and access to those reconciliations from anywhere, which is a big win for us. On the financial close, our month-end close is completed in Tagetik. The basic cycle is that month-end opens around a week before month-end for users to get started with their forecast numbers, and initial loads of the actuals probably happen 2 to 3 days before month-end. The business units then generally finalise the numbers during the week after month-end, with business unit calls and review by the Thursday when main numbers would be finalised, and Friday through Monday should then be for final statutory analysis, reports and checks before submission to Group Finance at the Tuesday following month end. Our forecasting and budgeting is also fully on Tagetik, with the strategic plan and local models being maintained, and the forecasts are done every month for the rest of the year, along with an annual budget cycle, including operational data. External reporting is also completed from Tagetik, at least for all numerical values and supporting analysis. It provides the analysis in a different way for stock exchange releases, and also the go-to place for any questions from analysts following briefings and so forth. IFRS 16 was the first major addition to our CCH Tagetik estate, implemented in 2019 to manage our lease accounting in compliance with IFRS 16 standard. It's a big win that we have this on the same platform as the rest of our group reporting, and we get savings in system management and enhanced reporting capabilities from these being aligned on the same platform.
Following this high-level overview of how Tagetik is being utilized at Aggreko, we will now have a closer look at each of those individual areas in the next couple of slides.
For our monthly close process, we have both our actual and forecast numbers within a single scenario with different categories to separate one from the other. We do a full year forecast for each month, and this then gets archived to give a full history of how our forecast for the year has changed month on month. We don't do any sub-level consolidations, and all our local finance teams operate all the reporting at a constant currency basis throughout the year. It's only our group finance that update for the changes in currency and providing the elimination of investments and so forth of a full consolidation.
In terms of automation and agility, that is probably focused around data loading, with actual balances loaded from our ERP system with various transformation steps, which help us simplify and streamline our chart of accounts. We're also benefiting from automated data loads from the consolidation module into account reconciliations to enable balance sheet recs. We're also trying to capitalize on the shared data model between different solutions to minimize admin activity and eliminate manual touch points wherever possible.
For our business units, we hold some operational data around our power fleet in terms of the capacity, utilisation, number of generators, and this helps with analysing the numbers in terms of rental rates per kVA, the percentage of fleet on hire, and our overall capacity. We've also built an on-off hire model for our power projects business, which shows the projected number of sets and the amount of power on rent for the year. There's potentially a lot more operational data we may look at in the future.
In terms of IFRS 16, we've got a dedicated Tagetik module to handle lease accounting. We've got 50 legal entities with contract data with over 2,500 contracts. We are following a decentralized model with the local or regional accountants managing their lease information in the system. And we see the benefits of this implementation as going beyond purely the compliance element. We now have a central repository of all lease data, guaranteeing visibility across the business and enabling group level reporting and analysis. We also manage our forecasting and budgeting of lease impact through the IFRS 16 module. The latest addition to our Tagetik estate is a new cloud module dedicated to balance sheet reconciliations, which we implemented earlier this year. We opted for the early adopter route, helping the product team shape the final product and, of course, learning along the way. The solution services over 142 reconciliation entities with over 4,500 reconciliation objects and 200 users. Like with any implementation of software solution in its early life, and in our case, in particular, being early adopters of that software, we had to get through a number of major upgrades with the demands of regression testing and providing feedback. However, we found the collaboration with the CCH Tagetik product team and the work on designing and implementation of various improvements and fixes very educational and very rewarding. With automated data loads from our consolidation and reporting system and shared data model, this is effectively closing the loop in terms of the month-end close. We have now gained a streamlined process, global visibility of the status of our reconciliations, including approval sign-off status, visibility of balances at risk, as well as certain efficiency improvements via the carry-forward functionality and standard reporting. In terms of the impact of the pandemic and the audit and assurance teams no longer being able to travel for assurance purposes, this also gives them the ability to review the quality of the work done in terms of balance sheet reconciliations. Another functionality that is probably worth mentioning would be our SAF forms, so data submission via input grids that allows us to further break down movements on specific GL accounts, for instance, fixed assets, allowing us to provide a bit more analysis on additions, disposals, transfers. This means that that analysis and data can be used for statutory disclosure or to enhance internal reporting outputs. The key thing in here is that all of this information is being submitted into the system, utilizing variation accounts in CCH Tagetik, and that means we're moving away from maintaining that type of analysis in manual Excel spreadsheets. Another point to mention is around our financial controls checklist, which is an additional database that we enabled and designed specifically to handle compliance submissions. So regional submissions of our compliance status against key controls, including action plans, etc. This has replaced a fully manual process with multiple versions of the same Excel file being sent around for review, approval, and sign-off.
Our group treasury team have been quite significant promoters of CCH Tagetik over the years, I guess in part because many of them came from the finance teams before that. We originally implemented a short-term weekly cash forecast process for the next 6 weeks, and while this was working well, we were actually considering streamlining and reducing the needs of this in the run-up to the pandemic. But once the impact of that became clear and how it would affect our forecasting, this process was very much reinvigorated, and further cash graphs were introduced to give clear visibility of how our bank balances were moving as forecasts changed rapidly, as events were cancelled during early 2020. This allowed the Treasury quick visibility of cash flows throughout that period of uncertainty. We also fully aligned this process with our monthly forecasts, making it easier to identify cases where weekly and monthly forecasts were inconsistent. The Treasury team are big promoters of reporting cash generated or consumed by business units, and put a focus on ratios of revenue to working capital and ensuring they stayed in line or better than our budgets. And if not, then letters of explanation are required to our Group Finance Director. Tagetik Analytics also provides a simplified and easy to use version of Excel reporting built on the same principles as the standard Tagetik model, with advanced visualization options and quick drill downs, data slicers, and so forth. Some other regions prefer this to the standard Tagetik reports, particularly for management reporting and quick analysis from some users that's not familiar with the complexities of the CCH Tagetik Excel reporting add-in.
To sum up, we wanted to have a quick look at the before and after status of our transformation. The before is a mix of complexity, dependency on Excel, multiple manual touch points, and an updated and flexible software. The after presents a much more coherent picture with all of our core month-end close consolidation and reporting processes within a single platform with integration points and capitalizing on shared data model, user knowledge, and process alignment. To ensure that the Aggreko view of our transformation journey with CCH Tagetik is not just limited to us in terms of technical support, and we have also reached out to some of our key users across the business and asked for their thoughts and experiences with Tagetik. We have over 200 users of the system, ranging from IT admin through group finance, regional controllers, as well as local accountants. Here's a couple of quotes. Martin, our group finance manager, appreciates the reporting capabilities, dynamicity, and the flexibility of FX analysis. Brian, one of the FP&A managers, shared his experience in terms of learning the basics and experimenting with the report's design functionality. While Vanessa, who is a veteran of our CCH Tagetik transformation and was part of the initial implementation of the software, shared her views on efficiency savings in the month-end close process that allowed her team to focus on more value-add analysis activities. And last but not least, Caroline, our group financial accountant, who was involved in the implementation of the IFRS 16 standard and software solution, despite the challenges and complexities of the project, really appreciates the powerful functionality that the module gives us, as well as the audit trail. Change and continuous improvements are firmly on our agenda. We are always looking at new initiatives and exploring new ways of utilizing the software. Let's have a quick look at the Aggreko roadmap. I would say that the first priority and the top priority for us at the moment is migrating all of our modules into a single cloud platform. We currently have some of our modules in an on-premise model and some of them in the cloud. So we're looking to consolidate all of this into a single tenant cloud environment, with the underlying software also undergoing a major upgrade to ensure that we've got a future-proof, up-to-date solution, which should then enable us to pursue further functional improvements next year onwards.
We want to extend the CCH Tagetik solution into PowerPoint and Word with a view to make it an easy way for users to deliver their monthly business reviews and presentations and board packs. Doing this successfully would be a major time saving for users. We first have to get, I guess, a bit more granularity around the access and security requirements of the reports within the main solution. And once that is in place, we will start with some of the quick wins and easy use cases for that. Collaborative Office is a significant piece of additional functionality, and it will take us a little bit of time to get going with, but we still feel this is a big opportunity to significantly enhance the solution in future.
One of the key functional improvements that we are hoping to introduce following the cloud migration is the introduction of a standard month-end workflow to consolidate our month-end activities, streamline the process, and introduce certain additional controls into data submission and reporting. This should also help with the onboarding of new finance team users, making the month-end process centrally rather than locally managed process.
While our monthly forecasting process is well established and fairly accurate, it is not really modelled in a terribly consistent manner across all our business units. And there's increasingly looking to develop more analysis and forecasting based on industry sectors and markets. So we would like to deliver some more standard models and templates to help our business units apply their forecasting in a more consistent approach going forward.
And now a few words of wisdom and some recommendations from us in terms of our own experience. The first one would be embrace change, because if we're not changing, we're effectively being left behind. Legacy processes are unsustainable, manual processes likewise, and you will always find some key stakeholders within the organizations who will be willing to support you in terms of improvements and improvement initiatives. Transformation is never finished, it's never done. Change is part of life in the finance function. Don't overthink it, do it. We have found that trial and error is probably the best approach. With CCH Tagetik, you will learn a great deal from testing various functionalities, prototyping solutions in test environments, potentially running into issues and resolving them as well. And linked to that, be bold, so don't be afraid to use standard functionality to do something new or something unusual. The software is very robust and it's really difficult to break it whilst testing, so it should really withstand our creativity. And last but not least, engage and ask for help. Utilize Tagetik expertise and engage with stakeholders. We have certainly learned a great deal from our interactions with the support teams, technical consultants, working through specific projects and issues. We also tend to use the CCH Tagetik community websites, watch webinars, and read release notes. In conclusion, with Tagetik as the key enabler of change, we have managed to transform our finance processes. From the initial implementation of the core functionality to now Aggreko owning the software, experimenting and innovating with it, it has been a challenging but also a very rewarding journey. We have embraced the full potential of the software. We continue to learn and plan further improvements and explore new functionalities with every release.
So a huge thank you, Joanna, Donald. Well, thank you everybody for first inviting us into your homes for this session. So it's really just to say, I hope the glimpse of the ambition and the scope and the change that Aggreko have affected, but also the pragmatism of all of those mini projects into one has been interesting. Please think of questions you have. Please reach out to me personally. My email's there, and you can ask any questions, as this has been hopefully some good food for thought. So thank you again, and speak soon, I hope.